There we go. It's working. It's working. Alrighty, so it's on YouTube. So I pause that and let's record this to the cloud. Well, since it's a light cloud and it's still early, my name's we'll introduce ourselves. My name is John. We got Lily's coming in. My name's John Mudd. I'm the chair of this council, this meeting. Katie, over to you.
Good morning, everybody. Hi, I am a member of the Chelsea Public Housing Coalition, LEAPS, and I am a faculty member at Pratt, and I'm on the board of the Midtown South Community Council. And it's wonderful to see everybody here.
Okay. What, pass it or Rochelle? Yeah, Rochelle.
Okay, I'm Rochelle Stearns, and I'm filling in for Mark Gross, who had hoped to be able to make the meeting, but he couldn't. And he's on the board of the Main Chance Homeless Drop-In Center on 32nd Street.
Okay, we always we love those folks over there. You guys, do a great job. Lily, want to say hello? Lily, clock on, clock out. Am I getting your? Am I? I'm sure. Say something, Katie.
Yeah, we can hear you, John.
Wei, want to say hello to everybody?
Hi, my name is Wei Tam, and I have been doing Cantonese translating for the Fulton Elliott Chelsea houses for the tenants that don't speak English, and also senior tenants and also regular tenants that don't speak English. And I've been doing a lot of translating and helping with their situation right now. Yep.
Cool. Rashida, she's got a note taker apparently, so maybe she's not actually there. That would make sense, right? Anyway, speaking of translation, what's going on? Well, let me just pop up the uh, uh, the agenda. A lot's happening. Uh, of course, if you don't know, we have 4 committees that are supporting some legal actions to defend, well, supporting more than legal actions. We're defending public housing and trying to save it from demolition. And we're on the ground. We have a direct action committee. We have a fundraising committee. We have uh, a legal committee, and we have a coalition committee. If you want to be there with us, let us know. We've been at this every week with meetings after meetings and on the ground. We have a few actions coming up. We have Pack the Court that's happening. We're doing that Wednesday at 10 a.m. It's down on Thompson Street. You can go to our website and find that. It's also on the agenda as well. This is a lawsuit that's hopefully will put Related on pause and HOU on pause, tell them to stop what they're doing. And then we have a rally November 8th. That's Saturday. We're going to start at the public housing. We're going to go to Related's office. So, and then here's our agenda. Hi, Renee. Glad you're here. So just to go through the agenda, Renee's coming on now. No policy meeting this morning. We haven't had a policy meeting. We haven't really latched on the policy to push or to get behind, except against our development policies. If you haven't checked into some of our press lately, please do so. There's some great conversations with some of our team members, Lynn Pauletta, Ivy, Renee, Lizette. There's some great, and Rob was on YouTube, and Viren. And if you haven't seen our past Keith McHenry interview, that was a nice interview. And we need some board members, we need some committee members, we need some coalition members. There's nothing new on the Stock Transfers Act, and Alex isn't here to give us any kind of other reports. And the elections. Let's talk quickly about the elections. So, I thought this might be a fun thing to do real quick. Okay, the three things you would like the mayor to address concerning health, housing, and hunger. Uh, Policy reforms from previous administration you'd like to see changed. Anybody want to lead off? Give us your thoughts. You're muted, Katie. Muted. You're muted. Katie, was that you trying to give us your thoughts?
On today? Sorry, I
sorry?
just got a call. I got a call. The thoughts about today?
No, yes, about the elections. Well, what are maybe three things you'd like to see change, of what you expect from the mayor, and uh, concerning health, housing, and food, and any kind of policy reforms that you would like to see happen?
Okay, great question. Thank you. Well, I'd love to hear from everybody else, but I guess there's so many issues, right, that we need to address right now. And I think, of course, front and center, I'm thinking about redistributing funding and fully funding public housing, putting it at the center of the social housing agenda, stopping the demolition of the proposed demolition, which we're going to stop, of Fulton, Elliott, Chelsea, but fully funding NYCHA. And I think connected to that would be we need a public bank in New York City. We need to take our funding streams and not be reliant upon corporate banks, because I think if we had a public bank, this might be more possible. So and we have to stop giving away all the tax breaks to the developers to create luxury housing, stop the city of yes. I know I could go on, so I could say more than three. But of course, right now with the precarity of SNAP benefits, it's outrageous that there is food insecurity in this country, much less in New York. And so fully funding, people need to have housing, dignified lives of food, heat, hot water, clean air, and housing. And so what are all the policies that we can do? There's so many, there's a whole suite of policies, I think, that need to address these issues. And then I think certainly safety of, thinking about how can we, not just being a sanctuary city, but literally how, in the case of the ongoing attacks on our neighbors and our community, and racial profiling that is happening, with ICE. How can not only our city be an actual sanctuary city, right? Really think that through in a deep, meaningful way, which again means housing, healthcare, education. But I think it's not just our police not cooperating with ICE, but actually defending the communities that are under attack. And so that's what I would say. I'm about redistributing funding from any kind of militarization of the cities, but actually protecting those who need to be protected. So, yeah.
Those are nice thoughts. That's great. Wei, any thoughts from you?
Well, I'm just, hope that everything works out for the Fulton Elliott Chelsea houses. Um, I'm trying to help whatever I can. I know this has been going on for years. Also, especially with the food shortage, food stamps. I think I heard that they will reinstate part of it, half of it. So there's like 42 million on food stamps, and it takes about 8 billion a month to give out the food stamps. So they're going to do like 4.5 billion. They're going to do a half.
Yeah,
That's what I heard about the food stamps.
I
Um,
heard that too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And we have a reserve for that. I mean, we have
the
money in
reserve, right? The
reserve.
reserve,
Yeah.
right, the reserve for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Good.
yeah.
No, good thoughts. Lily, any thoughts for you? Are you still with us? Yeah, there we
Hi,
go.
John. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good.
I'm gonna refrain from commenting because we have an advocacy team and I can only speak about the program I represent. So I don't know if you want me to address that.
I do. Let's do that
Okay,
after
sure.
we go around the room here.
Okay,
And
thank you,
and
John.
sure. No, I'd love to hear. And I also want to have you on to talk a little bit more about what you're doing too
Sure,
at a later date.
no problem.
Um,
Thank you.
yeah, Rochelle, any thoughts from you?
I thought that Katie Cahill's rundown on all of a number of issues was really excellent. So I will say ditto to that whole program, including uh, bringing NYCHA into the foreground and using the original NYCHA as like the model for the affordable housing that is built, in that the rent will be based on a person's income rather than some figure that's been set for somebody who makes $80,000, as if they're going to make a particular thing for the rest of their life, and that it wouldn't be become an inappropriate a rent that they couldn't pay. From my past experience in working for HRA, which was many years ago, it was actually worked so much better then. During the period that New York was supposedly in dire straits in the 70s, we were actually trying to meet people's needs at public assistance centers. And a budget would be worked out for them that included their existing rent. We didn't have vouchers, et cetera, and not nearly enough of the vouchers. So I think I'll leave it at that.
Okay, nice. Nice thoughts. Thanks for a little glimpse into the past too, what you were doing. Um, uh, we're going to roll. I'm going to give Renee the last word on this, and we're going to roll into some public housing issues, and then Lily will pick up with you. And uh, Pete, any thoughts? What we're doing is we're naming about three things that we are either expecting or wish that would happen in the new, once we have this new mayor in place, what we'd like to see change, policies that we'd like to have improved. So any thoughts along those lines at all is more than welcome.
Yeah, thank you for asking. Well, we're starting with a clean slate. That's how I see it. And I'm hoping, I have lots of hope that things will change for the better. I think everybody's now at the, as they say, at the bottom, and there's no way other than to go up. And I think if we work together a lot harder now than before, and we have been working very hard. But now I think we're focused. I think the city is focused. that the most important priority right now is making sure that the residents, the city residents, are taken care of, that the housing becomes a lot more affordable. It's not just this state or the city that's having this problem. There are other states. Jersey has that problem right now, and that's why they have uh, a very close election. But I think things are going to go forward now.
Well, I appreciate that positive attitude. I wish I had it. I don't feel like we hit the bottom just yet, but yeah, I expect it to be better for sure, at least a little bit, as far as maybe some policy efforts, maybe. I don't know. Renee, any thoughts from you?
Well, of course, one of the things is investment in NYCHA, um, and true investment, as in it doesn't go to the outside infrastructure, but actually goes with inside to the homes. To actually live the 964 regulations and Section 3, that is part of it. Change the leadership of NYCHA itself. Have more, have a board that is mainly composed of the residents and not people who have a background in real estate. Give somebody accountability and oversight of it that goes along with that. The Social Housing Authority not playing like it's something new, that it's actually the public housing authority that it was built on. So that's one thing. Housing no longer being siloed and from rent stabilized, rent controlled to NYCHA to the thousand years. The same rules need to apply across the board, not having to look up to say, oh, are you within this district? So you get the certificate of non-harassment. So yeah, no more money to the developers, building hospitals, the state and the city actually investing in the city itself and the state. Stop giving so much money to the federal government. If you want your return on investment and actually care, then you invest it here. Another
I like
thing,
those. Oh, go ahead.
yeah. And as Caitlin said, no more of the militarization of the budget. Um, Stop saying you don't have any money when you're giving 2 billion to Hudson Yards and we look at the military budget and you're giving 20 billion to Argentina, which is basically a real estate deal because farmland will then go vacant and then we know it's the tech bros that then buy it. So real estate and those deals are a fundamental part of this country. Those are just some of the things. And politicians being willing to say exactly what they mean and not wait till later on. Such as I just read today that Mamdani is 4, 2, 3, and 4. So we don't know where we're at, but not surprising. A
Yeah.
new base of grassroots politicians, of electeds, and not relying on electeds. It's going to basically have to be the people of this city, not making someone a heroic figure and figuring out it's us that needs to really guide the government and that we are the government.
Those are nice, nice. I liked your what you mentioned about the board change. You know, you got this board, of course, that's running NYCHA, and so that sounded like a good positive move. If you change the board completely to more residential or majority residential folks, people who live there, I think that. Is a good move actually. If Knights is going to stay in place, if there's no, I mean, they're bad actors, we know. They've had a history of it. So taking that structure and changing that structure may be a positive way forward. People's talked about different ways of resident management, CLTs, and all this, and making that like a social, you know, like merging into social housing, make that a an idea, housing for folks going forward, and maybe what you just hit upon about the restructuring. NYCHA. It could be a positive way forward. Never thought about that actually.
Well, yes, that's actually a state policy change because it's written into state law. So that's what most likely would have to be done. But we don't need to be merged into social housing. We are social housing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, cool. Lily, why don't we go to you really quickly, and then we'll talk about our, maybe Renee can lead off on what we've been doing and what's coming up. I did mention about the November 8th and also the Wednesday hearing. Lily, why don't you step in and talk about your work and what you're doing, and how we can help you or you help us, or how we
Sure.
can merge.
So, good morning, everyone. My name is Lily Lopez. I represent Night Connects, a Center Independence for the Disabled of New York. Just want to clarify that's not Night Connects Housing. We assist with housing applications, Medicaid. We don't approve nor deny, but we assist people if they need assistance completing applications, as I mentioned, housing, Medicaid, Social Security, SNAP, certifications and applications. We can also be utilized as a resource center depending on people's needs. I posted my information on the chat along with our electronic brochure. If you don't see it, let me know and I'll repost it. My contact information is there along with the main line, how to contact us. The program is free of charge, and we are available Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Thank you.
Any and where are you located?
We are located on 6th Avenue, 1010 Avenue of the Americas. I suggest that it's best if you're referring anyone to make an appointment. Just in case, the counselors are working with somebody else, we don't want the person to wait long.
Yeah.
But they can always call us. If they call me, I'll take the information and I'll make sure that a manager assigns a benefit counselor.
Okay. And this, I know you. Can we refer anyone to you?
Yes. Anyone. We are like expertise are people with disabilities, whether it's mental health, someone who's deaf. But if they don't have a disability, we'll still work with the person, but our expertise are people with disabilities, doesn't matter the age nor the disability.
Okay. And that's the only office you have is over there?
No,
Yes?
we are in the 5 boroughs.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, we are in the 5 boroughs. I can send you our locations. I could put it together and send you our locations. Again, always make an appointment before coming in.
Okay, cool. How much work do you do? How much of your work that you do that supports maybe housing initiatives?
They do a lot of applications. I don't have an accurate number, but most of our applications are housing applications. We also do the 2010E applications. Those ones, if you're sending us a referral, we need to start those applications ourselves, only because if the client already started it somewhere else, we don't have access to the documentation that, so please, if it's a 2010E, we have to start from the beginning.
Yeah, you want to
explain? I can get you
explain?
and rack your number of how many housing applications we get, and I can gladly send it to you. But most of our applications is people requesting housing assistance.
And you want to explain what the 2010E to everyone?
2010E is applications for people who are substance use and they need more support. Those are we assist with those. And there's also a waiting list for that one, just letting you know. And you need a psychosocial and a psychological evaluation.
Mhm. And it's more than just drug. If I remember right, it has a lot to do with mental health too.
Correct.
Disability.
I was gonna,
Yeah. Um, and I imagine you're connected with a lot of place, like landlords and also supportive housing and right.
So we don't do case management, but if that's what the person needs, that part, we do have organizations that we work regarding the 2020, but if they have a separate voucher than that, and they need case management looking for housing, then we will connect them with those organizations. We have partners that assist with that.
Where you might be of help. We have a case that's they to get right into it. The public housing has been under attack. You know this, I think. Yeah. Uh, they've been at this for a while. The HOU has been really coercing folks out of their homes, and we're battling to keep them in their homes. We're battling to put them on pause. That's what the court. I'll let Renee explain a little bit more about the court thing coming tomorrow. But we may need a social services for a tenant. To make sure she's getting what she needs as far as social help that lives there, and she plans to stay there. It sounds like you could help in that area. You could help since I have you
Well, to a
here.
certain point, we could definitely, assist in certain things. Now, if it's more into tenant advocacy, we do have partner organizations that will assist if they need like attorney assistance.
Mhm.
I don't think they will be able to represent them in court, but at least guide them. We do assist with reasonable accommodations if the tenant, if they having issues with that. We can help them, with an advocacy letter, but if it gets a little further than that, we do with the permission of the person, we would connect them with organizations that work directly with those issues and have attorneys if
Yeah.
it gets a little more, difficult than that.
We're working on the attorney aspect. My thoughts are she may or may not have some dementia. Um, and I don't know to what degree. I mean, she's pretty lucid when we talk to her. So it's more about health for her.
Okay. So you can definitely we speak about that case, and I can speak to, connect you with somebody in my organization. If the person can make their own decisions, we can speak directly to the person. Otherwise, we're gonna need authorization with anyone that is representing that particular person.
And I imagine you have access to a lot of different interpreters and language folks, right?
We do have a language line if we need to. Some of our staff speak different language, but if we don't have any staff to speak that particular language, we do have a language line that we utilize.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Lily? Okay, Lily, thank you. Thank you for
everyone.
your thoughts there.
I'll
I know you've been
post my
coming.
information just in case nobody else saw it.
Yeah, I know you've been with us for a long time. You come to our meetings, and we really appreciate that so much.
Thank you. And I'll get you the housing information, the number of application for borough, how many are submitted.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
Renee, you want to jump in here and talk a little bit about Wednesday, what's been happening, and we'll go from there.
Wednesday, where the LA Chelsea Residents Association and FEC Tenants Against Demolition are going to court to ask for a temporary restraining order for NYCHA to stop this project. The proposed demolition and to leave people alone at the same time. So they're asking for multiple things. That's part of it. And on the 28th, there's going to be a march about public housing and saving it. It's not just about Fulton and Elliott Chelsea, it's about public housing as a whole. It's also about housing as a whole. Um,
It's on
People
the
always
8th,
think
right? You
on
said
the 8th.
20. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, on the 8th. What
Okay.
always happens is people think that what happens in public housing won't happen to them. Unfortunately, that is also not true. What happens here in public housing happens in all housing everywhere. I always say that housing itself is under siege, even though most people don't think that. When you go back and you start looking at people, you see it's the long-time residents and they're all having the same problem. Landlords not listening to them, needing repairs done, predatory action taken, a form of terrorism going on a regular basis. So it's not just public housing, it's basically everyone that's under siege, and we need to deal with that.
It's almost
So
like they
don't
go to,
everyone Yeah. So it's not, don't think they're not looking at what's going on here as a model. We have whole blocks that are owned by, a landlord or a property management firm. Don't think they're not thinking, we can find one place to put all these people, say we're going to renovate, then gaslight them or do some survey or something, and then let's take the whole block and build a whole bunch of affordable housing. That's why I always say it that way. We need to stop using the language of affordability because no one ever puts numbers to that. If you look at the AMI, it's for 34,000 and above. What's considered low income in New York is like about what, 56,000 to 90,000. That's low income. We need to also have a new language and tell people what you're really speaking about. Nobody does that. Everyone keeps saying affordable and low income, but without the numbers behind it, we don't know what people are talking about. And then everyone gets upset. Oh, I thought you said it was low income housing. Yes, it's low income housing. You just didn't know the definition. So we need to start being honest about what we mean and who we want to live here.
Mhm. Yeah, you're right. It's almost as if they went to school and they have this playbook on how to own property and rent out to folks. What would be a good uh, language? What kind of language do you propose?
I would say we need housing for those who need it most, and that might be $34,000 and below. At the same time, we need to be very honest who we're building for. Are you building for only people who can afford whatever is considered market rate? Nobody knows. So the language needs to be, yes, I'm not going to say housing for all, that's too reminiscent of other people's phrases. But if we just don't need to build, we've been building housing for, I can't even say how long at this point, and you're still at the same place that you are, and maybe and possibly even worse off. Because FAR doesn't tell you how many floors, it just tells you how much floor area ratio you're getting. And so they could still make decisions. We need to stop being, what should I say, under the thumb of real estate as well, but also an acknowledgement of what we need to build. We need to preserve housing. We need to keep it going. We need to invest in it. We need to help landlords not do vacancies. Those are the things that need to be done. We need to be plainly spoken about what we're talking about because this will be a model what they'll do to everyone.
Yeah.
Let's be very real. They're watching.
Oh yeah, yeah. And vacant tax, I think a lot of people are in on the vacancy tax. What other thoughts besides going to war?
That might be the thought. Go to war.
Yeah. Um, Katie, you want to say something?
No, I think that's totally accurate. I put in the chat just to Renee's point that the AMI for one person is $113,000 for one person. And so when they're saying affordable housing at 80% of the AMI, which is in the proposal for Fulton, Elliott, Chelsea, the unaffordable affordable housing is for people who make $90,000. So, I mean, I think when you just put the numbers to it, that makes clear really, yeah, the contours of the struggle, this is a war on poor working class people, so I think the militarization of the city makes it so obvious across the country with the kidnapping and the abductions, but with the unhoused people on the streets and the criminalization and the laws that are passed at the federal level. So we need at the city level and the state level, if they're not, right now, I think it becomes really clear just to kind of speak to, underline one of the things that Renee said, we can't rely upon the state that's constantly betraying, criminalizing all of us, so I think it's, we have to rely upon each other, I think we keep us safe, so.
You mentioned 113,000 is what people need to make, and you also said it in concert with the public housing over there. Are you talking about that area? That's where the AMI is.
Well, the AMI is for New York City, and that includes the 5 boroughs plus Putnam County. So it's a gerrymandering. HUD determines the area median income and the geography, the maps that is based on all across the country. And then our affordable housing, I mean, again, affordable housing is pegged to that number. And so often, the crazy thing, and I put it in the chat, is that you can actually have housing that is considered affordable that developers receive the tax credits for is based on those numbers, but they can go up to 165%, which means somebody can be making, so if you go on Housing Connect and you see the housing lotteries for those buildings that developers have received tax credits for, and then a certain percentage of those buildings are, of the units within the buildings are determined affordable. That's what folks are entering the lottery for. Many of them, 80%, but actually some of them are 120 and 130%, which means someone who's making 150, like the absurdity of this language of affordability becomes really clear when you look at the affordable housing lotteries that are run by Housing Connect for developer created affordable housing, and just making it really clear that also, City of Yes, it's optional to create even that unaffordable affordable housing unless they go 20% above their upzoned limit. So, it just seems like it's a cruel joke. It's brutal, really. So.
I always thought that lottery was a cruel joke. They call it affordable housing, that you go on there and like you have to put your ticket in there for a lottery for what's not really affordable. I've always thought that they revamped the site. They used it as a way of getting affordable housing. I just thought that was a cruel joke too, as well. Yeah.
It is indeed. And I think, if you look, I put the Housing Connect in, and if you look, so for example, I live at Penn South, and that is a limited equity cooperative. And our board basically, anyways, the land was, those of us who are in the neighborhood, we know there's this new building, the Mabel, and their affordable housing goes up to 130% of the AMI. I mean, it's luxury housing. So
speaking about the Mabel,
also on public land. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking about the Mabel, that was actually that property was part of the Penn South, right? At one time.
Well, yeah, that's why I was bringing it up. I was bringing it
Yeah.
up as an example. So it's an example of infill, unaffordable, affordable housing. So it's luxury housing with a certain percentage of the units that are supposedly affordable but are not affordable. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, and that was given away uh, practically, right? Wouldn't you say given away by the Penn South Board, is what I understand, uh, to
It's a
build.
long, sordid,
Yeah,
complicated,
complex.
not that complicated story, but it's a sordid, lots of lack of transparency, and given to MAG. And so doesn't the it's the same thing, the 99-year lease, Renee. So it's the same kind of deal of this 99-year lease that is
Yeah.
given. So
And wasn't our councilman uh, one of the persons that really helped that to happen?
um, Eric Botcher did not come to help to expose the lack of transparency. So I would say, I mean, I would say he was supportive, but we enlisted all of our um, uh, Hoyleman and the borough president at the time. Yeah, yeah, Renee, it was a terrible thing. It was all behind closed doors in the pandemic. I mean, and this is not a secret, but so it's Marianne Gilmartin, who used to be either the CFO or the CEO of the Atlantic Yards Barclay Center, Forest City Ratner. So, so this, and then it was billed as like this women minority owned company that, you know, and so we did try and expose them. They had a like kind of different than the survey that was done, but similar. Like here's the red bib or the blue bib, and your monthly charges are going to go up unless you do this. And of course, the monthly charges did go up. Um, uh, Less than 5 years later. So there's so many problems. And yeah, anyway, a lot more to say about that, but I don't want to dominate this space with that.
No,
But
no,
to
no.
say it is as yeah, giving away public land to private developer and um and there's yeah, again, like a lot more terrible things. So we did report them to the Attorney General, to the public advocate, but again, nothing happened. So
So if my perception was that Eric Botcher used it as an idea of affordable. He helped to make that happen just the way it's almost likened to what he's doing now with all the other politicians trying to make this demolition happen over at the public housing. He's actually, and then they tout this as affordable on, they tout this building, the Mabel, as affordable. And he worked with the developers and to make that happen. And he used that uh, as a accomplishment. Am I right?
I think he wasn't actually he was the chief of staff for Corey Johnson at the
Uh,
time. He was on
okay.
the work. He was really, so these are parallel processes because he was the then convening the working group that for public housing for Fulton, Elliott, Chelsea. Eric Botcher was at that time, and Corey Johnson was our city council person at the time. So
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I'm just trying to cut out where all the development routes come in. Anyway, um, Renee, any other thoughts on what we've been doing over there? As you know, we were just there trying to keep someone in their home. HOU was literally uh, moving their boxes out of their home, had it boxed up in their hallway, and we had been visited by the police, and I think Layla did a nice recap of it. And any other thoughts on that experience?
Well, the only thing I can say is that the police were stationed there on Friday, and there also somehow have been security guards in the building during the day. They usually don't come during the day, they come at night. So I think that's an interesting thing that's going on. Who are they trying to secure? And then the police being there on Friday, outside because they thought a possible protest would happen. So a lot's going on in this development, a lot.
Yeah. Is the person we were trying to protect, she's from what I know, she's still in her own home at this point, right?
Yes,
Mhm. I
but
think
that's
we
all I
should,
have to say about it because
yeah,
we really don't know what's going on there.
right. We should probably, I think, as a group, go over there and maybe see what we could do and help her out. That's why I mentioned to Lily, and maybe there's some help that we can get from her as well. Um, Leaving her in that state, I think, would be good. But uh, maybe we should think about doing that today. Anyway, um, okay, all right. We're going to have a short meeting today. Um, the only other thing I have on the on the yeah, on the agenda. I don't really have anything else on the agenda. I know it was election day. We've been really busy with what's going on with the public housing, with all the committees. I did not ask a speaker to come, and there's always something to speak about and work on. And I appreciate you all being here. I appreciate having you in this space. And any last words from anyone? No last words? I like the new flyer. I do like the new flyer on Saturday's event. That looks really well done. Who did that? Same people did the Pack the Court.
That's a question for Renee. Renee, do you know who did
Yeah, the same people, they did it.
Yeah,
Awesome. It
that's
looks
the
great.
YCL group. Yeah,
Yeah, they did
nice,
it.
nice. Yeah, nice job. Nice job. That's what a flyer should look like, right? Okay, great job. Yeah, great job with that. We should, and I certainly will add that to the call out too. Thanks again, everyone.
Bye.
All
See you all in court tomorrow.
Bye.
right.
Yeah.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
thank you.
Thanks,
All right,
everybody. Bye.
Pete, are you going to be there?
Tomorrow I got a number of meetings. I'm not sure. I got the full board tomorrow
Okay,
what
okay,
else? A couple of meetings, I think in the one meeting in the afternoon or something like that.
great.
All
All
right.
right, great. I'm
Uh,
glad you're busy. I'm glad you're in it. You're always there. I appreciate your work, and thanks for joining.
okay. You be well now. Let's go
You too.
forward. We'll go forward. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
We'll go doing fine.
yeah. Thanks, Wei. Thanks for being here. Thanks, Lily. You guys have a